very pink today, and the inspiration will be this black and white image. Probably feeling pink because I went to my local hardware store, got a couple swatches, and that was really inspiring. Also inspiring was looking at different tiles today for some home decorating. But on to collaging, I am really feeling pink. And that's because it is one of my favorite colors along with orange. There is something about the black and white image that I am completely taken by. I am going in the direction of just your basic collage this week. Let's see if I deviate from that, and let's get started. You know the dilemmas I face when I have one image on the other side of another one that I love. This is a partial solution. I really liked this image more than this one, but I cut this out anyway in a perfect square. And I am just going to now cut out the image I really want. But now I'm creating something of a frame. And it's not pink, even though it's my goal today and my focal point is about pink. I like the offset it might have for some of the pinks. So I'm going to have it on the ready in case I do need it for my ephemera. But nonetheless, here is the piece I want. And here is another piece. So now we have something way more abstract that can act as a frame for maybe another collage, or maybe this one even. I don't know. But I feel like it's not a waste, and I'm kind of happy now that I did that, because there's other possibilities for this. I can play with it. It can be a frame for another collage. That's all there is to it. But this one I did want to use for this collage. It's not super pink, but it has just teeny tiny elements of pink. So it'll offer nice contrast. And let's see if I do indeed use it for this piece. Tedious cutting of a stamp of Susan B. Anthony. She's not pink, but she is purple. And I think she's going to fit really nice about right here. So for this collage, I obviously grabbed a couple of stamps. I love working with stamps. It's interesting because I'll grab the stamps, but I don't always use them in the piece. They do inspire me, and I think that's the whole thing when I tell my viewers and my workshop participants, grab as much ephemera as you can because it makes for a more interesting collage and it gives you more options. But what I also believe is that they act as a source of inspiration. So always grab something that inspires you. Even if you think it may not go well with that collage, grab it anyway, because just having it sometimes really is a source that will fuel you into maybe another direction. In one of my previous videos, composition, which was my composition book, I carry it with me everywhere because I'll take notes primarily with it. But I am constantly inspired by the imagery of that little book, imagery that I got from magazines and stamps and brochures and all those things that we get as collage artists. And I think that's the key. As we continually inspire ourselves, then that is going to drive us to create, and it also drives us to create other things that are different and maybe even better than the last time. So that's why I think that is really the reason why I always choose too much ephemera. I was thinking, oh, it's just to have more choices, which it is, but I also believe just having it on my desk as I'm working inspires me. I mean, these teeny tiny illustrations on these stamps, it's really kind of mesmerizing. So if anything, just have them on your desk to keep you company as you work. I scored the back of these pink and magenta bubbles because I got them from the cover, the inside cover of a magazine. They are very shiny, very glossy, and I wanted to add some tooth. So I just went ahead and added some tooth to it by using my X-Acto knife to do so. And they were going to be a nice backdrop for Miss Susan B. She's got enough tooth on the back of the stamp. Stamps again have cotton threads, I believe, like running through them because stamps obviously have to hold up to transient. And let's get that. Oh, actually, I think did I tuck it in here? Trying to remember. To lift this a little bit. Oh, I glued it down too well. Ah, here we go. And give her like she's kind of peering over. Yeah, that looks good. I think we'll do this. Just to give her a little contrast in. Not so much, show so much of that stamp, the 50-cent, I think it was 50-cent postage, a long time ago. No, I don't think it was. Actually, I think it was cheaper than that. Anyway, just to not make it so, indicate so much that it was a stamp. So I think the top part of the hair, I don't like that sticking out right there, a little bit of a frame. I might find something else later. I'm just trying to add smaller elements to add interest, not too much, because we have our focal point, and that's a good thing. So I'm going to continue cutting. What I'm also doing here today is I'm sectioning things off. So as I continue here along this headband, I'm going to cut here. And instead of just cutting the hair out as a whole piece, I'm just doing it section by section. I do that sometimes. And that allows for other imagery to come in, going slowly, pressing my finger down as I'm cutting, always pulling that X-Acto knife away from your skin, your fingers. And I'm going to draw it down here, back to the headband. And I think we got everything. Yeah, we did. Very good. Because now I'm doing that layering technique, and I'm going to have to cut through packing tape and a little bit of glue here. But that came out pretty good. Okay, so I have this piece. Maybe I'll bring it back in here. Do I want it here? But that's what I'm doing. I'm just kind of playing with that and maybe sneaking in other imagery. See, so this is a nice solid color, and it's good and it's fine, but by itself, or even this one, it's just a little yawn. So I want to add other imagery in here. I have this image of what looks like something that's reminiscent of a Navajo blanket. But as I was cutting the little bubbles out, the bubbles that went here, I was looking at these triangles, and I thought the triangles themselves without the square of the blanket are very interesting. So just having something like this instead of just cutting out the square of the blanket, it's just more interesting, I think. So I could do something like this and tuck it in, and we have that nice warm pink background background to fall on. So it just generates a little more interest, and we are again creating a new landscape. So I think I'm going to maybe do this. And it looks like I cut off part of this. I mean, I had to because I was getting out the bubbles that were right here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this triangle out. But now we can play with size, and I can do something like this. So it's not a waste, and we still have our triangle. So I think that looks kind of interesting. I originally cut out this section of a pink grapefruit. I'm not crazy about it now, but it's kind of stuck on there because of glue. So maybe I can do something like this. I think I like that better, yeah. I mean, I still like the grapefruit there, but now I think it looks a little bit more interesting if we do something like that. I know this triangle looks a little wonky because it was cut, but that's okay. It's not a big deal. It's collage after all. Collage is not a big deal, but it is a big deal because it's this is the way I decompress, everybody. This is by no means a chore. I love doing collage. I'm going to do collage anyway, and I just invite you into the studio every week to watch what I do. Well, no more frame. Decided to sacrifice it because I want to use this portion right here. That's fine. We can do that. You can always change your mind when you're collaging. Kind of like how things are going along. It's making me happy. Because I'm doing a lot of tucking in, well, sort of tucking in, I'm doing a lot of gluing is what I'm doing. More gluing than I normally do anymore. I'm not even going to bother to use drafting tape for that. I'll just flip it on the side. So I'm taping it like a hinge, and I'm just putting enough tape to keep it in place. Let's see, do I need this? Sometimes I'll cut away the extraneous stuff. But the reason I keep it at a hinge is so it's just easier to sneak in and add little bits of ephemera like these stamps. So we have Miss Susan B. Anthony, and we have Whistler's Mom. And I'd like to add some more stamp imagery here. I also have the Statue of Liberty, but we had Shakespeare, and I have Queen Elizabeth. There's a lot of stamps out there of Queen Elizabeth from over the years. And I also have some French. I have a French stamp, and I have another one too with a female image, but I'm not sure if I'm going to use it. I liked this citrus look. I love citrus. I don't like eating citrus, but I love the look of citrus. I might put that there. That looks good. So I was thinking of adding another stamp here, maybe something like this. Kind of keep it away from the other two, just to, offer a little interest. I think I want to put that there. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that slice of orange. What I am going to concentrate on is, I may just keep this empty for now and return to it later as I'm working. There's also these pieces. Okay, that's kind of interesting too, because it mimics the other portion of the blanket from before. So while it's on my mind, I am going to glue down this piece of citrus. Very pleased with the way the head and headband turned out, hair and headband. A couple little little pieces here that are frayed, but it's really, I'm really pleased with the way this is all coming out. Got this last piece of the blanket. I wonder if I want to lace it somewhere here. I don't think so. I think it'll be a little too much. But I got a nice contrast here with this dark background and the pink text. So we can now go on into the face area. This is very busy, so I need to be cognizant of that. How busy do I want to have the face? But I will show you what I'm planning to do with the face. I want to keep these features, the nose and the lips. So I already drew a line, or a squiggly line, and I'm just going to go ahead and cut, because I'm not going to put any collage here. I'm just going to keep this exactly as is. I'm not going to do anything to that portion of the face. But I do need to think about, well, I was looking at this ear and this little bit of hair. So that might be a good spot for my bit of triangle that's left of that blanket. Where did I put it? Oh my gosh, I just had it here like 2 seconds ago showing you all, and now I can't find it. Ah, here we are. Yeah, so it might go good like right here, just a little bit to, show a tuck. But I'm trying to figure out what I want to do like with this ear area. I could keep the ear. That's a lot to keep, honestly. I don't know. I got something I'm going to do with the eye, but I'm not going to tell you about that just yet. We're on our way, but I'm not going to tell you just yet. But I'm trying to think what's going to be my next step here. Actually, it should be what I was thinking. So here's the eye. I'm going to place this eye right here. Spot right here. It's from I think it was a piece from last week. I'm not sure. I can't remember. There's a lot of videos now, I'm happy to report, but I'm losing track of all of them. Sometimes I can't remember the names of my old pieces, which is maybe a bit on the embarrassing side, but no, we got a lot of videos on the channel now, so I hope that you are enjoying them, and maybe you're watching some of the older videos, because wow, we grew a lot as a channel, and I'm very, very grateful for that. So this is what I was thinking of doing, putting her eye here, but I'm wondering, do I need to cut out the rest of that eye? So I'm going to go ahead and just do it. And definitely inspired by the pink of the eyeshadow on the model. Something like this. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of this little bit here because it's not adding anything. So if it's not adding anything, you want to take it out. Okay, yeah, I kind of like the way that looks. It has almost like a Egyptian hieroglyphic quality about it. Maybe like this. But I want to do something with the rest of the face. I'm keeping these features in place, but I definitely want to do something with this area and also the forehead. So if that's the case, let me see. We want to cut. I'm going to go ahead and cut into my headband here and cut our forehead to the nose. And let's see, got a little messy. Free our text. So I don't really need the eye or the eyebrow. I'm just going to gently saw with my blade. So I need a little bit of the area to tape down the new eye. But I need something up here. And that's what I was thinking about. That's what I was looking for. So I could just use a plain pink, if there is such a thing, because pink is my favorite color, one of my favorite colors. Pink is my favorite color today, and there's no such thing as plain pink. Maybe like this. But we want to make sure that it stands out with the eye, because we have our focal point, which is our model. She is our focal point. But if you really want to get down to the nitty-gritty, the focal point of a focal point is going to be the eye. So does that eyeshadow go well with that pink? Does it help it? Does it make it stand out? Are we good with it? I'm going to line up my nose right here, but I want to cover the rest of that eye. So does it make it pop out? Does it make it pop out, or should I just... No, that doesn't either. Maybe a lighter pink from our swatches. This one's still a possibility because I actually like the way that pink works with the text. I think I like this better because it makes the eyeshadow of the new eye stand out a little bit more. I am going to trim this just very slightly. And I'm also going to just make the eye like this. Okay. I'm going to cut a little bit away from the bridge of the nose. Cut this away. Keep the shape of the forehead. So we are still using it as something of a template. Okay. Now I don't want any of this text. Should be all right without it. Let me come back here and clean up this other text source. And we should have enough room. I'm just going to cut away parts that I don't want to be seen, like the text and these white borders. And now anything that I place here face down, I'm good with being on the collage. Now this paper that is housing the swatches is very tough paper. I don't really look forward to cutting through it, so I'm hoping I don't have to cut through it again, but I might have to. Who knows? Things happen. Let's go ahead and put some tape there. But yeah, that's going to be kind of brutal cutting through. Again, I need to make sure. Oh, I missed a spot. See? I don't know how I did that. That's the only downside I have with this this black matte. I like the matte, but sometimes I can't see very well what I'm trying to do, and I miss spots, and I'm very sensitive to that. It's I just don't see it, and I just miss it. So let's see. That should do it. Ah, very nice. And we'll come in with our eye. Ah, I like this. This makes me happy. Very happy. Oh yeah, that's what I wanted. Okay, let's keep going. I need to adjust this piece because it's not fitting exactly the way I wanted it to, so I was pulling up the packing tape and that was causing problems. So here's a hint. If you need to adjust and you haven't put on a ton of packing tape, just gently take your X-Acto and run it along the side where you want to cut, where the packing tape is, and you create a very light perforation, and then you can pull it up cleanly and it doesn't damage anything. And I need to take my own advice in that I usually test this and make sure it's in the right spot, and then I use my my drafting tape to fix it, to keep it in place. See, this is exactly how I want it, but I was lazy and I don't have any drafting tape nearby, so I gave myself a little extra work, and that's not great. But the drafting tape keeps things in place. So here I am, I'm going to do it again. Hopefully this works this time. I don't have to do that again. Yeah, see, it already shifted. So, we're going to learn our lesson. I'm going to get some drafting tape and do it the right way. And this is a fresh piece of drafting tape, so it's a little sticky. And I think we may be using old Bill Shakespeare in this. Kind of a play on words with pop artists. Although Susan B. Anthony and Whistler obviously was the artist, and his mom, well, she may have been a creative lady, we don't know. Or maybe we do, I just need to do my homework. Okay, so here we are. This is how I want it, the whole word. And I usually don't go for text, as you know, but we have a little text going on here in the headband. And we may as well just play with that a little bit. So I'm going to keep that there. Now it's safe. Now I know what I'm doing, for once. And let's get some tape. So when you're not heavy-handed with your media, I'm learning that that's a good thing. I'll just put it up here. I'll keep an extra here. It just makes life easier when you have these little, you run into these little problems, and you can fix it. Gently pulling this up because it is still kind of sticky. And now we have some drafting tape we can work with. No more of that. You can help it. Try not to do what I just did. Just take my own advice. Now, I was thinking about just putting Bill Shakespeare right here. Have him like peeking out. But I'm trying to think of what I want to do with the neck area. I have this. I really wanted to. This is busy, and I like how this is not busy. The face is a focal point, but it's not as busy as the hair. Not sure what I want to do next. I mean, we're still working with pink. This is all from the same portion of the magazine. I don't know if I want to do that. That's just me, though. There's nothing wrong with doing that. I think I like Bill Shakespeare there. So, yeah, I think he should go about here. Yeah, or out there. I'll just go ahead and glue him down, and then I think I will cut the neck and see what I come up with. I thought this might add an absurd quality, taking these upside down legs and tucking them in here and have them projecting out of the neckline into the headdress, and no, I think it's, I don't like it. I don't, so it's not going to happen. Famous last words. But anyway, I do have this old, this is an attempt at a magazine transfer onto a jelly plate. Fairly successful, except, you can't really see the image with the guitar. That might make its way into a video someday. So I did like the way the print looked. I like the color, and I think it might be good for here. It has a nice contrast. So that's some of my own hand in things. Some collage paper that I made. Yay me! But I'm trying to figure out what to do with the rest of this image. I think I'm just going to go ahead and commit that, but I do need to think about, do I want to keep, I'm thinking about keeping this portion of the image. I can just go ahead and cut out the rest. Just do that real quick. I was thinking about keeping the jacket that the model's wearing to offer that black and white contrast. sort of. I usually don't do that. I collage everything. Collage my cat if I could, but you all know my cat and how he would probably not appreciate that. But I usually collage everything, and you don't always have to. That's kind of interesting. I had also thought about this, but again, we have a lot of busy going on here. So I wasn't sure if this very cool checkerboard should make an appearance. Don't know. But I like that. I like the way this Gelliprint looks. So I'm just going to go ahead and commit it. Yeah. Just going to tape it down. Probably walk away for a little while with this, because this could be getting near done or not. Oops, gotta be careful there. So I think we're gonna walk away, see how I feel. Do I need to come back and give her a new coat? I could use this checkerboard as a coat, as part of the coat. I also had these pieces. They're not really pink, but I can get busy with the coat just like I got busy with the headdress. Or I just leave it alone and cut it out and call it done. We'll wait and see. I'm gonna step away from it. And I promise I'll step away, as in I'm not gonna play with this off camera 5 seconds after I turn the camera off and say, hey, here I am again, and I figured this out, and I think I want to do this now. No. I am seriously gonna step away. I promise. So, stepping away right now. I think we are near finished. So what I did was I slept on it, not literally on the collage itself, but just gave it a break for the evening, came back and decided that I was finished. And now it's time to do the big reveal and cut it out. I didn't do too much with the clothing like I thought I would. I'm kind of pleased and kind of made a last minute decision for the big blue portions of the coat. Those were left over from an attempt at magazine transfer onto a jelly plate. Wasn't very successful, but I didn't want to toss it because I thought, well, maybe I can use these little errors and make something of them, and they became a coat. So went ahead and did that, made good use of them. I'm just cutting everything out now, like I normally do at the end. Use a straight edge for the clean up the bottom in a minute. And I'll probably use my scissors now for the hair and the face. It'll just be a lot easier. Maybe these more delicate areas around the facial expression, the facial features, the nose and the lips, I might come in with my X-Acto for that. This area is definitely, this is going to be a little challenging because I don't think the nose and the lips are glued down. In fact, I'm pretty positive they aren't glued down. So they're about right here underneath another piece of paper. Also another Gelliprint reject, although I don't like calling it reject because I really liked the look of it. Go ahead and just remove extraneous stuff. But I know my eyes and, well, my lips and nose for my model are about here. So I'm going to cut off a pretty big piece of tape just to secure it, just to make sure I'm right about here. So I think it's about here. Now I am making more work for myself because I'm going to have to cut through this tape when I get to the features. That's okay because I want to make sure they stay in place. So I'm willing to do some extra cutting to make sure of that. And I know it's hard to see, but here where we have the pink forehead, there's a little bit of a gap here that I didn't cover. Just a very small gap. And it's not a big deal. It's just something that I noticed. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to stay with it. And I'm just going to cut something along that area that looks semi-natural to it. And just continue on that way. Cut the nose and the lips with the X-Acto. I think everything should stay in place. Just be really careful along this chin area. I think we'll be all right. Cut along the line, jawline, and to the neck. Little messier than I like. I can just, yeah, it's a little messier than I like it to be. It's because of the tape that's there already, and because I am using a knife that isn't super sharp. And I know I've shared before, make sure your knife is sharp before you start cutting, because then you may run into troubles like this. You have to press harder with a duller knife, and that also increases your chances of getting injured. You don't want that, absolutely don't want that. You want to have a successful collage, but you also want to keep your upper epidermal level of skin intact too. Nothing's worth that. Nothing's worth getting injured over. Okay, I think we're semi-successful with this. I just may need to go back and do a little more cleanup is all. Here we are. Here like this kind of cleanup. It looks like the nose and the mouth stayed in place because they were glued to this big eye. Not so much being glued to the back of the other ephemera. A little messier than I like, but this portion is free and was probably the most detailed portion of the collage. Okay. Clean this away. Alrighty, let's go ahead and cut out the rest of her hair. See, we have a couple layers. This is what makes it a little bit of a challenge. I've got a couple layers here that I need to cut through. That's why I try to cut away extraneous stuff, because it's this last portion of the collage that can be a little tricky. And I try to cut right at the point where the ephemera is meeting with the template stencil that I created for the collage. So we have a really as clean a cut as possible. Scissors provide a clean cut, X-Actos provide a clean cut. Yeah, see here, see how that's a little open. So what I'm going to do, don't really want any pink to appear. Okay, I'll get to that in just a second. Let me finish this hair, or headband, or whatever it was going to be called. We have a lot of detail here. Got Miss Susan B. I'll make sure, keep her. And we are almost there. Time for the big reveal. Okay. I can clean it up just a little bit more. cutting in between the area where the upper and lower lip meet. The tip of the nose. Actually, I'm just going to cut barely a tip. I'd like to keep that as natural as possible. Looks like we got that, I think. I'm just cutting away the paper underneath the nose so it doesn't peek out when we're done. And I still have some of the area beneath the lips. So any area that I see on the ephemera that mimics the lips, I'm just going to cut away from that so we don't have any of it poking out when you look at the collage. I got just a tiny bit on her nose that I want to trim off, left over from the magazine stencil. It's a little tricky there. Okay. Looks like we got it. I think we got it anyway. Messy desk. But now what I want to do is glue down that mouth and nose. A little bit. Just a little. Just enough to keep it in place. Okay, that's good, but I have a little area here that needs to be trimmed away, just a little bit. I think we are finished with this collage and this project. Okay, we need to do a straight edge cut on the bottom here. And I'll just line it up to one of these grids and we will cut. I will use the X-Acto, the dull X-Acto. Go across once more. Should be okay. Okay, nice clean cut. So what I ended up doing was using leftover Gelliprint experiments for the dark coat. I wanted to come in with more stamps. I thought I would come in with more stamps and maybe revisit ephemera from the headdress. I guess I still could. That wouldn't be awful, but I don't know if I need to. I'm thinking about just keeping it simple right now, right here. I mean, I can always come back later and, change it around. I saw this as a potential background, but it's busy as well as this. So we got a lot of busy going on. It's not terrible, but I'm thinking just continuing to keep things simple. I think for the final image for everybody to see, I'm going to put it on white. I'd like to give it more of an interesting background, but maybe not. I'll probably play with color in Photoshop and give it a different color background. I just kept things a little more simple. I really wanted to put those Venuses in. I think I want to glue that down too, the chin. I think it says enough. You don't have to go overboard when you are doing collage. It's kind of a case of the horror vacui I've talked about before, fear of empty space. Sometimes you need to be cognizant of that even within the canvas, and you don't have to fill up every little spot. It's still filled up with ephemera, so we're good. I think it's interesting enough. You don't need to put anything more. It says enough. There's a lot going on in this headdress alone. And yeah, I think it's done. So that's good. We finished another collage this week, guys. I thank you again for joining me on this collage journey. Let's see what we come up with next time.